"I'm sorry, sir, but that case is too bulky for the overhead compartment, and it can't go under the seat. You'll have to check it." The airline gate agent, Brenda, tapped her pen on the counter, not making eye contact with the older man before her. Her voice was flat, final, and honestly, it looks like it might not survive baggage handling anyway. "We're not responsible for fragile items." Mr. Adams stood calmly, his silver hair neatly combed. He wore a simple, clean shirt and pressed trousers. He looked like anyone's grandfather. "This is a medical device," he explained, his voice gentle but firm. "It's my prosthetic leg. It needs to be handled with care and ideally, stay with me." Brenda finally looked up, a flicker of annoyance in her eyes. "Sir, everyone says their bag is special. We have rules. It's going to be checked, or it's not going on the plane. Do you understand? We have a flight to board." Mr. Adams felt a familiar weariness settle over him. He was on his way to a reunion, a gathering of men he had served with decades ago, men who understood sacrifice. He clutched the handle of the sturdy, custom-made case that protected the limb that allowed him to walk, to live a semblance of a normal life. Inside, nestled in foam, was a part of him. He had flown many times since losing his leg in service to his country. Usually, a quiet explanation was enough. Sometimes, a letter from his doctor smoothed the way. But today, this agent seemed determined to be difficult. "It is not just a bag," Mr. Adams repeated, keeping his voice even. "It is essential for my mobility. Could I please speak to a supervisor?" He didn't want to cause a scene. He never did. He just wanted to get to his friends. Brenda sighed dramatically, a loud, exaggerated sound that drew the attention of other passengers waiting in line. "Look, I am the authority here at this gate right now. Supervisors are busy. If you can't follow the rules, maybe you should consider a different flight, or a different airline." She gestured dismissively. "Next in line, please." A flush rose on Mr. Adams's neck. He felt the eyes of the other passengers. Some looked sympathetic, others impatient. He hated this feeling, this public display of being singled out, made to feel like a problem. After all he had given, was a little understanding too much to ask? If you've ever felt unfairly treated by someone in a position of small power, type "I know the feeling" below. He thought of arguing further, of insisting. But what was the use? She seemed immune to reason. He could feel the old aches in his remaining leg, the phantom pains in the one that was gone. He was tired. Then he remembered, tucked into his wallet behind his veteran's ID card, was another small, worn card. It had a phone number on it, given to him years ago by a general, a man he'd served under, a man who had seen Mr. Adams perform acts of bravery that few could imagine. "If you're ever in a real bind, Adams, and no one is listening, call this number. Someone will listen." He had never used it. It felt like calling in a favor too big to ask. But this felt like a real bind. This wasn't just about convenience. This was about his dignity, about the essential equipment that allowed him to be independent. "All right," Mr. Adams said quietly to Brenda, who smirked, thinking she had won. "I will step aside for a moment." He moved away from the counter, finding a quieter spot near a window overlooking the tarmac. His hand trembled slightly as he pulled out his old flip phone and the small card. He dialed the number, his heart thumping a little faster. A calm, professional voice answered on the second ring. "Veterans Priority Line, how can I help you?" Mr. Adams explained his situation simply and clearly. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't complain about Brenda's rudeness, only about the refusal to accommodate his medical prosthetic. He gave his name, his old unit, and the flight number. "Mr. Adams," the voice said after a short pause, "I understand. Please stay where you are. We will sort this out. Help is on the way." Help is on the way. The words were a comfort. He ended the call and stood patiently, watching the planes outside. He wondered what kind of help would come. Maybe a more senior gate agent or a customer service manager. Brenda, at the counter, was busy processing other passengers, occasionally glancing over at Mr. Adams with a smug look. She probably thought he was calling to complain to some low-level customer service number that would put him on hold for an hour. Less than 10 minutes passed. It felt like an eternity to Mr. Adams, but in reality, it was incredibly quick. Suddenly, there was a different kind of movement near the gate area. First, a harried-looking station manager in an airline uniform hurried towards them, speaking urgently into a walkie-talkie. He was followed by 2 more people in sharp business suits, their faces grim. And then, trailing them, looking equally serious and moving with purpose, was a man Mr. Adams vaguely recognized from airline advertisements, Mr. Harrison, the CEO of the entire airline. The air around the gate crackled with new tension. Passengers stopped their conversations. Brenda froze mid-sentence, her eyes widening as the group, led by the CEO himself, approached not the counter, but Mr. Adams. "Mr. Adams?" the CEO asked, his voice surprisingly gentle. "I am John Harrison, CEO of this airline. I understand you've had some trouble with your medical equipment?" Brenda's face went pale. She looked from Mr. Adams to the CEO and back again, her earlier confidence completely gone. She started to stammer. "Sir, I was just following procedure." Mr. Harrison held up a hand, not unkindly, but with an air of absolute authority that silenced her immediately. He turned his full attention back to Mr. Adams. "Sir, I was in the airport for a meeting, and my office was alerted to your situation. We received a call from General Peterson's office regarding one of his most respected men. They told me a little about your service." Mr. Adams felt a blush creep up his neck again, but this time for a different reason. He hadn't expected this. He certainly hadn't expected the General's name to be invoked so directly, or for the CEO himself to appear. The station manager stepped forward. "Mr. Adams, your prosthetic case will be brought onto the plane by me personally and stowed securely in the first-class cabin closet. There will be no further issue with it, I assure you." The CEO then said, "Mr. Adams, on behalf of the entire airline, I want to offer my deepest and most sincere apologies for the distress and disrespect you've experienced today. This is not how we treat any passenger, and especially not our nation's veterans who have sacrificed so much." He looked directly at Mr. Adams. "What happened here is unacceptable. To begin to make amends, we would like to fully reimburse you for the cost of your current prosthetic and additionally, cover the full cost of a brand new, top-of-the-line replacement, should you wish it. No questions asked. We will also be upgrading you to first class for this flight and all future flights with us, for life." Mr. Adams was stunned. That's very generous, sir. But not necessary. I just wanted to make sure my leg was safe." "It is necessary." Mr. Harrison insisted. "It's necessary for us to show that we value you and that we understand the mistake that was made." He then turned slightly, his gaze falling on Brenda, who looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her. His voice became steel. "As for you, young lady," he said to Brenda, "your conduct was appalling. You will be suspended immediately, pending a full investigation. We have a zero-tolerance policy for disrespect towards passengers, particularly those with disabilities or our honored veterans." Brenda's badge was collected by the station manager right there. She was quietly escorted away, tears welling in her eyes. Have you ever seen someone get exactly what they deserve for being unfair? If it made you feel a sense of justice, type "justice" in the comments. The CEO then addressed the other waiting passengers. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this disruption. I want to assure you all that we are taking steps to ensure this never happens again. We will be implementing immediate, mandatory retraining for all staff on proper procedures for assisting passengers with medical devices and disabilities, with a special emphasis on showing respect and providing dignified service to our veterans." Mr. Adams was then personally escorted onto the plane by the station manager, his prosthetic case handled with extreme care. He was seated in a plush first-class seat, something he'd never experienced before. As he settled in, he felt a profound sense of relief and a quiet gratitude. Not for the first-class seat or the offer of money, but for the fact that someone had listened and that respect had been restored. The memory of Brenda's disdain was already fading, replaced by the CEO's genuine apology and decisive action. The story of what happened at Gate 12 that day spread quickly through the airline. It became a key example in the new training modules. Mr. Adams, though he never sought attention, became a quiet symbol of why respect and understanding are so vital. He made it to his reunion, his prosthetic legs safely with him. He shared stories with his old comrades, but he kept the airport incident to himself. He wasn't one to brag or complain. He was just glad that, in the end, fairness had prevailed. The true measure of a person or a company isn't whether they make mistakes, because everyone does, but how they choose to correct them. Mr. Adams knew this from his long life. And today, he had seen a big mistake acknowledged and corrected with honor. Remember, heroes walk among us every day. They don't always wear uniforms or carry medals openly. Sometimes they are quiet grandfathers with old injuries and even older memories of service. They deserve our respect, our understanding, and our gratitude. If you believe that every veteran deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, please type "Honor our heroes" below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where the quiet strength of good people shines through. Always stand for what's right, because sometimes a single phone call can change everything.